या ये सीधे रुख करते हैं उसका?
Deep as any time I can remember. And I think what we talked about yesterday in the course of the G20 was also illustrative of this, because even as we're rightly focused on what is happening in Ukraine as a result of the Russian aggression, not just because it matters to Ukrainians and to Ukraine and to Europe, but because it matters to the entire world. The principles that underlie the entire international system that are necessary for trying to keep peace and stability that grew out of 2 world wars are being challenged, being aggressed along with Ukraine. And part of the reason that countries way beyond Europe are also so focused on this and are working to support Ukraine and deal with the challenge is because they know it could have an effect here. If we allow, with impunity, Russia to do what it's doing in Ukraine, then that's a message to would-be aggressors everywhere that they may be able to get away with it too. But having said that, you saw yesterday and you see today in this meeting of the Quad an equally intense focus on the issues that are having an impact on the lives of all of our fellow citizens, where the Quad is a force, I believe, for good, positive, affirmative action. What's in so many ways important about it is this. First, we start with the proposition that virtually none of the challenges that our people are facing and that people around the world are facing can be effectively dealt with by any one country acting alone, whether it's the United States, whether it's India, whether it's Japan, whether it's Australia. And given that basic premise, it makes sense for us to start by finding like-minded groups of countries with which to tackle these challenges. And the great power of the Quad is you have 4 like-minded countries, united in their basic values, united in their basic interests, bringing different strengths, different experiences, different comparative weights to tackling these problems. And not only tackling them for ourselves, but actually creating a global commons good, particularly for other countries in the Indo-Pacific. And what we've done over the last couple of years, in particular, is translated that into very practical projects, very practical, in a sense, offerings, so that we're creating for other countries in the region a positive choice and a positive partner. We're doing that. Obviously, we did this on vaccines during COVID. We've been doing it on infrastructure for some time. We are now engaged very much in working together to help countries deal with humanitarian situations, disasters. And, of course, we're working on things that are really critical in ways that may not be so obvious to countries throughout the region, which is what's called maritime domain awareness, giving countries the capacity, the tools to have a full picture of everything that's happening in their maritime space, which is affecting the lives of many of their citizens, for example, illegal fishing. So I think not only are we not distracted, on the contrary, we're more deeply engaged than ever, and the Quad is one of the most critical vehicles for that engagement.
Secretary, our bilateral relationships, India-US bilateral relationships, have taken a step forward with this latest critical and emerging technologies agreement, a lot of excitement, a lot of coverage. Can the Quad elevate itself to collaborate on critical defense technologies? Or is that going to be the preserve for AUKUS and for the old partners? Does Quad have a vision for also working together on building the defense for future?
Well, I'd say 2 things. First, of course, this is not a military grouping. It's not that kind of alliance. But one of the things that we are doing through the Quad is trying to bring together not only governments, but academia and other experts to look at where we might collaborate together on new technology, on innovation. And whether that has benefits in other areas remains to be seen. But clearly, our 4 countries in particular are very well placed to increase in a variety of ways our collaboration on emerging technology and on innovation, and that's something that we'll also do through the Quad.
Minister Hayashi, is Quad relevant for Japan's maritime security concerns? How is it important for what's unfolding in East China Sea? Do you think it is a feel-good talk shop consultative group, or do you think it has the potential to be able to put together something that will be of use to you when things get rough?
Thank you. Thank you. Like Tony said, this Quad is not for security issues, not military issues, but practical cooperation, like everybody said. So not